They sped past the intersection. There was no mistaking her. It was Lee. Her blonde hair streamed behind her as she clung to the back of a motorcycle, laughing, carefree. My stomach turned. What was my wife doing riding with another man at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Without thinking, I turned the wheel and followed. They vanished into a wooded trail just outside town. I parked on the gravel shoulder and got out, heart pounding, feet crunching leaves as I made my way in on foot. The sun filtered gold through the trees. Insects buzzed faintly, and a soft breeze brushed my skin. The farther I walked, the louder the sound became, moaning laughter, the unmistakable rhythm of bodies in motion. And then I saw them. They were on a blanket. Lee was on top of him, bare-chested, completely absorbed, her head thrown back in passion. She looked radiant and alive in a way I hadn't seen in months. The man underneath her? Bill Avery, one of her co-workers at the school. I recognized him instantly. He was younger than her, a gym teacher, if I remember correctly. I stood frozen, watching them with grim clarity. It looked like something out of a movie. Sunlight casting soft rays over their twisted embrace, the kind of scene you'd never expect to stumble into unless life was trying to break you. I pulled out my phone and took a few photos. Part of me wanted proof. Part of me just wanted to feel control again. "Hey, Lee," I called out calmly. "Who's your new friend?" They didn't hear me at first, too deep in their moment. I called again, louder, and that's when Bill groaned, climactic, raw, animalistic. Then silence. Scrambling, gasping, grabbing clothes. Bill sat up, blinking in panic. Lee clutched the blanket to her chest, her mouth open, trembling. "You've got a family, don't you, Bill?" I asked coldly, holding up my phone. "Couple of kids, if I'm not mistaken. Don't worry, your wife will get these photos as soon as I'm back at my car." He stammered, tried to say something about blackmail, but I ignored him. My focus shifted to Lee, still frozen, speechless. "You're smart enough to know what this means," I said. I turned and walked away. Later, back at the house, she arrived looking like a ghost of herself. Hair tangled, face pale, movement stiff. She showered, changed into yoga pants and a fitted t-shirt. Probably her idea of looking irresistible. "You're wasting your time," I said, my voice like ice. "This marriage is over." "It was just a fling," she whispered, voice trembling. "It didn't mean anything. It meant the end of us. You can't divorce me over one mistake. Please, Todd, don't do this." I scoffed. "A mistake? You call that carelessness." "He wasn't special. I don't even think about him now. I'm all yours." I laughed bitterly. "I saw you, Lee. You were loving every second of it. And we both know you'll go back for more." Her face fell, fear creeping in. She leaned closer, her eyes softening, lips parting seductively. "Come upstairs, baby. Let me prove how much I love you." The rage boiled in me. "Really? You think I'm that stupid?" I stepped back. "I'm leaving, and I'm not coming back." Her face darkened, rage replacing fear. "You're making a big deal out of nothing. I've been faithful for most of our marriage. You're gone 2 weeks every month. Do you know how many offers I've turned down? This was the only one I said yes to." Unbelievable. I looked at her, regret mixed with deep exhaustion. "Goodbye," I said. "Wait to hear from my lawyer." I drove 2 towns over, pulled up in front of a small bungalow. A woman with chestnut hair stood outside, holding the hand of a little girl. When she saw me, she smiled gently and walked over. "I thought you were still on your trip," she said, concern in her voice. "Did something happen?" I kissed her, long and deep. The pain washed away in her arms. For the first time in a long time, I felt at peace. She held me close, whispering, "Welcome home. Stephen, your family missed you." Somewhere else, another man's world was falling apart. Mike had already had the worst day of his life. The envelope in his hand felt heavier than anything he'd ever carried. He dreaded walking into the apartment, dreaded having to tell Michelle. Married 3 years. They'd built a life, worked hard, kept things together. As he drove, his phone buzzed. He answered, voice tired. "Hey, honey, you okay?" "You sound off," Michelle asked gently. I'm fine. Just had a rough day. I'll explain when I get home. Okay, and just so you know, my parents are joining us for dinner. Of all nights. He sighed, forcing a neutral tone. Got it. Love you. Love you, too. Mike stepped inside. Michelle and her parents were waiting, all seated on the couch. Michelle's smile lit up the room, and his heart broke at the thought of what he had to say. Hey, sweetheart, she began, voice trembling with emotion. I know today's been hard, but I have exciting news. She reached for her mother's hand and took a breath. For the last 10 months, we've been trying to have a baby. I was starting to give up hope. But today, Mom came with me to see a specialist. They ran some tests. And she beamed. I'm already pregnant. The words hit Mike like a freight train. He stared, stunned. Tears rolled down his cheeks. Michelle stepped forward, assuming he was overwhelmed with happiness. Arms open to embrace him. Don't touch me. Silence. Michelle froze. Her parents looked at each other, confused. What's wrong? She asked, her voice cracking. I thought this was what we both wanted. Mike's voice shook with restrained fury. What I wanted was a family, with the woman I loved, a future together. That's what I wanted. But we're having a baby. No, you are. He tossed the envelope on the table. This came from the specialist I saw today. The one I saw to find out what was wrong. Michelle stared at it. I'm infertile, Mike said. I can't have kids. The room spun with disbelief. Michelle's mouth opened, but no words came. Her mother gasped softly. Her father's face darkened with understanding. The silence was absolute. And then, slowly, Mike turned and walked toward the door. Everything they'd built, shattered in an instant.